Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Fumble Live on this beautiful Friday. So glad we made it to the end of the week, and I'm excited because no matter what happens in the future, none of us are going to take the kind of L that OKC did. We're going to talk about that. Also, this Kyrie saga might be coming to an end. Maybe. We're going to get into all that. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at Jackie Ray TV.
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. I still can't decide which is worse, that big old blowout or both of my teams losing in the same night in dramatic fashion. I can't decide which is worse. I don't care. I can't do it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a dog in that OKC race, but that Saints loss stung, especially when I had Cowboy fans texting me non-freaking stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's just move on. That's all we're going to say about
fans,
that.
Bulls fans, Lonzo haters. I had everything all around. Didn't you just pay Taysom Hill? Pa-pa!
Okay.
And you wanted Lonzo Ball. Pa-pa! Oh, but just like everywhere I was going, I was just like, yo, last night was just not it. I got off the internet. It wasn't it. It wasn't it.
Oh my God. So I had to do a podcast. I appeared on somebody else's podcast. I actually had to go. It's been a minute since I had to go to a studio for a podcast, but they have a really nice studio in Beverly Hills. And by the time I get there, it's the fourth quarter. And so I walk in and everybody's just looking at me. Like, are you okay? And they all got on Patriots gear of some sort.
Oh
Anywho, let's just move on. So let's get into this first need to know news, because I told you guys at this point, you can't go on like this forever. This Kyrie saga is becoming kind of ridiculous. He has not played a single solitary game with the Nets, and you have to worry about that because their record right now, I believe, is 15-6, and it's a tight race. Right now they have the best record in the East, but it's tight with the BUCS, the Heat, the Wizards, even the Cavs. It's a really close race. So I think at this point, you have to start thinking about, okay, what is our future going to look like? So apparently the Nets are taking calls regarding Kyrie, but they're not making any calls. So now they're at least open to the possibility of a trade. I personally got to get Chris's thoughts on this before I really dive into this. I think this is ridiculous because the biggest trade that we're talking about right now, obviously, is, like you said, with the 76ers. But if they were to make that trade, say, right now, then what is it? Sometime later this month, Kyrie gets to walk back into Barclays Center and play. So before we even dive into this, there has to be some way that we can mitigate this and say, okay, because especially now that we're seeing that, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but people who are vaccinated are getting the virus still. So is there some way that they can mitigate that, or is this just a wash? Kyrie has to just own it. If he doesn't get vaccinated, he's never going to play with the Nets, at least this season.
Yeah, Kyrie's going to stick to what we're quarter into the season, and Kyrie's not changing his thought process on anything. So I think this is what it is. It is what's going to be. He's just not going to play. And unlike Ben Simmons, he's getting paid. So, I mean, there's not much of a real incentive for him to have to come back in any hurry, like Ben Simmons, where he's getting, fined every single game or whatever the case may be over there. Yeah, I have no problem with this. I think, oh no, my camera froze, but I'm here. You can hear me.
You are frozen. With a sleepy eye.
Oh God. Okay, well, all right, let me come back and I'll continue my point.
Okay, you come back. I'm gonna finish. I'm just taking all kinds of L's right now. Please, somebody screenshot this so I can blast them about that later. He's still frozen. So, anywho, so the main trade that they're talking about right now is with the 76ers for Ben Simmons, and James Harden is apparently included in that trade deal. So, because James Harden, as you know, his contract, he's on a 1-year deal. He's expected to. He does have a player option that he's expected to opt out of in exchange for a longer deal. Are you back? Okay, good. So I'm having to look at you at the corner of my eye. Okay, so good. So now James Harden is included in these trade talks, and I'm not entirely surprised at that. I can't remember exactly when James Harden made this quote, but he said he lost all faith in Houston, in the Houston Rockets, once Daryl Morey left. So obviously, and Dan Antoni. So obviously he has a relationship with Daryl Morey. So I don't think this is a horrible idea. But Chris, what do you think? Do you think this is a good thing that they are finally considering moving on from Kyrie?
Yeah, I think they have been the entire time, and I think like the main factor is you saying, you know, that they're not really trying to shop them, but they are listening to offers. I think that's the right thing to do because to go to your previous question when it comes to Ben Simmons, that trade's not going to happen until that guy you mentioned, Daryl Morey, understands how trades work and how, you know, the the actual what's it called, the level of what you actually gonna get from Ben Simmons, who is not playing any basketball right now, and our last memory is in the playoffs and what he did or didn't do in the playoffs last year. So his value is not as high as people expect. So Brooklyn's probably gonna sit there and wait until they get that right call from Philly. I don't see any other trades, maybe like a De'Aaron Fox or something else, because I know that they're looking over there. But yeah, to me, links all go to Ben Simmons. But the right move has to be there, and I'm sure the Nets aren't going to try and oversell unless they're going to be able to get like something else along with Ben Simmons for Kyrie Irving, because you're going to get instant production from Kyrie Irving because he's fine to play in Philly. If you know, if that trade happens, so the minute he goes to Philly, he'd be able to play. Do this Nets know if that's going to happen with Ben Simmons? We know that he wants to be out, but now it's a mental thing. So is he all of a sudden just going to be mentally okay because now he's on a new team? Who knows? So yeah, I think they're waiting for that right offer and they're just going to listen to him. I think that's the right thing to do.
I mean, at least be like Antonio Brown, right? That'll buy you 12 weeks before people figure out it's a fake vaccine card, but do something. Yeah. You know, it's just the fact that he's not doing anything. He's not saying anything. I do think that fans would feel some type of way seeing him go to the 76ers and then come right back to Barclays Center and play, I think, is it the 16th or something like that, or the 26th, something like that. It would be insulting to them to see him actually be able to, and I understand that. And I think that because that just doesn't make an ounce of sense, I get why they would feel that way. Some fans are already speaking out like, okay, hold on, let's take a step back, see if we can figure out how to make this work, because they love Kyrie. So I want you to take a look at these two tweets of fans that are already in their feelings. This first one says, I will be so incredibly sad if Kyrie Irving doesn't play another game for the Brooklyn Nets. This guy says, same, please get vaccinated. You know, and I don't want to say that I don't understand why Kyrie is not getting it, because I do, you know, especially like every day something else comes out. So, you know, like 55 years before we know what happens with the Pfizer vaccine. So I understand where he's at, but at the same time, he's not saying anything. We don't really know how much he wants to play. Part of me thinks that's smart to keep it, because you said what you said now, and if you're not going to get vaccinated, what else can you say? And I don't think he's going to bend. So unfortunately, I think this time is running out. How long do you think it'll take for them to actually pull the string and say, okay, let's either make this trade happen with the 76ers or let's start making calls ourselves? How long before you think that happens?
It doesn't. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm still in camp that I don't think this Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving thing is going to happen. I think Daryl Morey is going to stick to his guns. I mean, he talked about how it might not happen this year, next year, or the third year. You know what I mean? So he's not going to bend. And this whole, the Kyrie Irving thing, I think the Nets are too scared to talk about. And the Nets are doing solid right now. They figured it out. So the Nets are too scared to play the whole we're shopping Kyrie Irving thing out right now. They'll listen to offers, but I don't think they'll ever be the aggressor in trying to get rid of them just because the Nets are playing well right now with what they got, and they can hedge their bets. So I just think, I think neither of them are going to happen.
I mean, I just want to see him play at this point. I'm at the point now where I don't even care where that is. I just miss seeing him on the court. So do something. That's all I got.
Preferably if he goes somewhere else, I'm with you. But if he comes back with the Nets, I'm not. I can't co-sign. I'm cool with him not playing. I'm cool with that.
You're cool with him not playing?
On the Nets. On the Nets, yeah. I'm cool with him not playing on the Nets because I don't need the Nets to be good. That's fine. I mean, the Nets are doing good, but they'll be even better with Kyrie. Now, if he gets traded, that'd be cool. I definitely want to see him play, especially on a Western Conference team. Then I can start rooting for him again. It'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, we need a point guard. But anyway, that's all I got for Need to Know News. Chris, take us into the post-up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my camera is fine. But it's time for post-up on this Friday. Or
Sleepy Eye Friday.
Yeah, Sleepy Eye Friday. Yeah, I already get that enough. And that still image did not help me out at all. But yeah, we got phone here today. Forget my camera. It does that from time to time, but we have a backup just in case. So let's start off with that moment that we were talking about. If you guys did not get to see the score of the Thunder and Grizzlies game at all, well, it looked a lot like this. Yeah, that's about how the game went. It was like it looked like a damn like a kids movie because that score was it wasn't real. It did not look real. I was doing post game talking about the Knicks, and on the side, like I don't know if you guys saw that Keaton Thompson, that picture where he's looking down. He got the big old eyes. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt when I was looking at the score. I'm like, there's no way this is real, but it was real. It was very real. If we can get that other picture up, yeah. That's not how many points they scored in the game. That's how much they won by. 73 points. I don't think I have to tell you that that's an NBA record. I don't think I need to tell you this. I don't care what kind of team that you ever seen or heard of in the past. I don't care how bad you think they might have been. No one's lost by 73 points before in the history of the NBA. And the craziest part of all this was the Grizzlies beating the Thunder, and John Morant wasn't even playing.
Right.
Now, mind you, like I understand the Thunder are not there right now. They are a team full of draft picks and, a lot of youngin' and this, that, and the third. But God. Now, Jackie, I have to ask the question because, our producer brought up something to me that I completely forgot about. How does that feel to see that the Grizzlies beat this team by 73 points and y'all lost to the Thunder twice?
Yep. I got nothing. I mean, because if they beat them by 73, we should have beat them by 120.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't realize.
So I'm like, no. I cannot explain. At least were we fully healthy? I guess I'm
one of the games I think you guys were, but no, I'm talking about the Thunder. The Thunder ain't got no John Morant.
Okay, yeah, the Thunder. That right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to
my
that.
Man Shay. Yeah, I don't know either, man. Well, OKC is down bad.
When I went to Twitter, I was looking to see because every time this happens in a high school, we get that they should stop running up the points. They should put their other squad in. Nah. I was looking to see if anybody had that same energy, but everybody's like, nah, run up the points.
Right. Run it up.
Where's that energy? I'm just gonna have to block this out of my mind that we lost to OKC twice. What was the score? What was the score when we lost to them? I'm gonna have to look.
You gonna help me with that? I like I said, I was informed of that.
Because maybe we only lost by 2. Let me see.
But do you want that though? Do you want that to know that you only lost by 2? I don't know. Those hurt the most.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you on that. Let me look at the chat then real quick.
I don't even see.
55 points was the Cavs versus Lakers. I remember that one too, but that was 73. Yeah. 73 points. The Thunder is putting the Lakers win on their 2021-2022 highlight reel. That's their championship.
Absolutely. I'm trying to see that game. I don't even see it. No.
Well, maybe it's for the best. We don't have to relive it. It's okay.
Shut up.
I can make you relive that. The best. You ain't gotta make you relive that. It's fine. Jackie, don't bother yourself. Don't stress yourself out. We'll move on. You don't need this.
I need to do it. Okay.
You don't need this.
So the first game, it was 115 to 123. And then the second game, it was 107 to 104. So the second game, we lost by 3 points.
I think which one of those? One of those you were healthy. Yeah, that is. I'm telling you, man. To lose a close one against a team like that.
I feel like the first one, we were healthy.
Okay.
Well, we play them again on December 10th. So
redemption.
Maybe we'll get that 120-point win.
There you go.
Why wasn't John Morant playing? Do we know?
He got hurt. I don't know if you remember a few nights ago, his knee. So he's missing some time right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So he's missing some time right now. But the Grizzlies are doing just fine. Not saying they don't need him. I'm just saying that they are holding it down until Ja is able to come back. And that team, they are the definition of team basketball because they. If you saw that game last night, you see the stats. Ridiculousness. Not only did they win by 73 points, they scored 150 some odd points. Craziness. absolute insanity. But yeah, if you're a Thunder fan in the chat,
because
possibly
Kevin
not.
Lang in the chat says, "Let it go." Kevin Lang in the chat said, "Jackie, let it go." If we win by 80 points the next time, is that a full redemption at that point?
Jackie, it ain't gonna happen. But if that happens, then I don't know.
It out there.
Sure, it's still on the record though.
Move on, Chris. Move on.
All right, we move on to something that you probably not gonna want to move on to. We are continuing the situation, the story. We saw the leaked footage of Deion Sanders inviting none other than Miss Brittany Renner to come and speak to his athletes. Following, at that time it was the beginning of the season to get them prepared. If I can get that, oh my goodness, I'm all over the place. I have tabs all over the place. There we are. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So he posted this on his IG with the full 4-minute video, but let me read this caption first before we get into the videos and my opinion and Jackie's opinion. Deion Sanders said, "It's my responsibility as a coach to prepare my young men for any and everything on and off the field, or on the field and off, whatever. I brought in Bundle of Brittany Renner to educate them on how the game is played between men and women at their age and stage. The mess may not be for everybody, but trust me, it's for somebody." And then he said hashtag Coach Prime. And then he said he added the Kent State, the team. You know what I mean? So I split it. It's a 4-minute video. I split this into 2 things that we're gonna watch right now. The first one is funny because I just thought this was a funny back and forth, and Deion Sanders makes me laugh. And then the second one is going to be the meat of what this entire speech was mainly about. But let's get to this first one.
Calm down now, calm down.
Can you introduce yourself, and let's go from step A to Z, because we got to kind of show these guys.
This is ridiculous.
The other side
right.
of game. And that's why you gracefully blessed us with your presence, so they could understand from your point of view how this game is played.
So my name is Brittany Renner, aka Bundle of Brittany on Instagram. I have been on social media for almost...
Joke ain't took notes all year, but now you want to take it.
He said, I'm on social media. I like LaMelo Ball, and I saw his teammate getting a little bit of a situation with you, so I need to take notes so that don't happen to me. That's what he said. That's why he got the notepad out. He's like, Coach, look, I know the plays, but this is different. I got to be prepared. So, all right. So there's a lot of repeating and a lot of things that were said. God, I will give my opinion on it, because you guys might not like my opinion, but you guys may kind of agree with the opinion. But let's hear what. Oh gosh, let's hear what Brittany has to say here first before we talk about our opinions and how we feel about this. Shall we? Brittany, go ahead.
A lot of guys who are in my DM,
you're
in my DM because I'm Brittany Renner. So naturally, if you play a sport, it's kind of like, well, that's an incentive to talk to you. A lot of times, women, men in general, everybody wants something.
Thank you.
Everybody wants something. So it's like, even if we both have our own thing going on, me still being with you is a good look because you boost my stock. Just like you boost my stock. You know what I'm saying? Like, I boost your stock. It's just that simple. It's kind of like a give and take, but you have to be aware of what you're signing up for. You want to make it to the NFL, and it's kind of like, you do understand there's a lot that comes with that, right? There's gonna, like, to be able to decipher who really loves you for you, I think that's like the $1 billion question we're all wanting to know.
Oh,
here's my thing. Here's my thing, Jackie. You probably ain't gonna like it, but I'm gonna bring it back. Here's my thing. What Deion is trying to do here, I respect it, because I don't think that these players get educated enough on what PJ Washington obviously did not get educated on. Is what, the other side of the sport. When you get the notoriety, you get the money, you're gonna have girls like said Bundle of Brittany being out there hounding and looking for an opportunity. So I like the thought. I like the idea. I thought this was great. Everything she said was semi on point. My problem is I don't like where the source of the material is coming from. That's my beef. You could have asked anybody else to come in here and get this education for a lot of these knuckleheaded idiots that are going to go pro and then probably going to still do the same thing. But the fact is coming from her, knowing and hearing and seeing in the count. I mean, the fumble, the amount of stories we got on her, and the things we've been talking about. Like, it's just hearing it, and the music does not help. She's not the one. So that was my beef. Now I know you may not agree, but I get what Deion's going for. But it could anybody else? Anybody else? That's my opinion on it. Jackie, please sound off. Go ahead.
Deion Sanders looks like a complete idiot doing this. And I actually like Deion Sanders, but he looks like a complete idiot doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, this girl walked in here with the onesie panty suit on and sitting there, and you know what I mean? So she already presenting herself like she representing for the whole nation. So that's an L off top. And Kevin Pryor in the chat said, oh, it's kind of like taking kids to prison and scared straight. And yet some of those kids still commit crime. So we don't need to bring in this girl for that. And if that's your logic, there's whole brothels that exist in Las Vegas. Take it to a professional who this is what they do for a living, who can break down game in a way that this novice hoe can't. It doesn't make sense to bring her in there when she's basically capitalizing. Because see, here's the thing. Posting this is not the best look because we still have young girls that are like, all right, let me just be a get around girl too. You got to realize that you're not just setting the image for the guys that are in that room, but also girls that are looking up to Deion Sanders because he is an icon. So this is just a bad look all around. I don't think you give this type of woman a platform. I don't think you exalt her and make her feel like what she is doing is so good and so well played that she should have a platform to talk to other people about it. That is not what you do. This is foolery on the part of Deion Sanders, and I'm really, really embarrassed for him.
Yeah, and what's crazy is it's getting a lot of people are enjoying it. There's a lot of players, a lot of ex-players, a lot of retired players that are co-signing it. And the thing is, I think they're co-signing what he's trying to get after. But like I said, when you have who it is that you have out there, like you said, presenting herself the way she's presenting herself, having the history she has, like I just don't know if that's the one. I don't want her to be on a pedestal with everything that's been going on lately with children involved and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's my beef. Like, I can't completely knock Deion because I don't think enough players get that kind of experience. I think you bring up a good point, taking them to actual, like brothels and stuff like that, where some of these players really have these addictions that we never will know about, that go through these kind of problems and throw their money away and put themselves in a situation. Like, I agree with that. But like, I don't know, just to put her on the pedestal and her knowing, like, oh my gosh, like the video took 30 seconds to start. I think it was even more than that because these dudes are in there like because of all the wrong reasons. Because like you said, she in there dressed the way she dressed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The idea is there. I do not like the execution at all. I just was not a fan. Man. But chat, I'm looking at chat and I think a lot of, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Look at the chat green and saying the same thing. But hey, man, to each their own. The music was my least favorite part. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, the music, man. The music. Anyways, to each their own, Deion. To each their own. Good idea, bad execution. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. So this is a thing that is very close to home. We have the whole situation with my man Julius Randle sounding off on the referees after that Brooklyn Nets game. Also, Tom Thibodeau then said some things after that game, which resulted in the referees doing what they do, I want to say, about 70% of the time in our Knicks fans NBA season, and that's come back and pulled our bad, we missed calls. And when you go back and look at the calls that they missed, they were key calls that led to the end of the game. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. What is the important factor is Knicks fans were in arms for the last few days, and then the referees proceeded to start our game by sucking yet again. The point of the matter is Knicks fans were all over it, social media, complaining, talking about the refereeing and this, that, and the third. So much so where somebody decided to put a graph together about the teams that have, or is this the fan base? Yeah, according to Twitter, according to fans who complain the most about the officiating. And although it felt like the Knicks were very high, the Lakers Got us beat by a lot. I know I hear it all the time because I have homies that complain about referees, but I genuinely thought that the Knicks will be first because we have bad every game. It's a situation. Every game it's a situation. But God, look at the Lakers, and you see the Knicks, you see the Nets, the Bulls, the Warriors. There's a trend here. There's a trend here. Cavaliers fans, shout out to Cavaliers. There's a lot of Cavaliers fans. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all, I did not realize that since LeBron left that there was that many of you guys still kicking. Go ahead, Cavs fans. Go ahead and complain away, man. I'm proud of y'all. Look at y'all supporting y'all team. And if you see at the very end, look at the teams that aren't complaining. We got the Raptors, we got the Pelicans, because the Pelicans ain't got no big fan base. And then we got the Trailblazers at the very end. I don't know what to read of that. I don't know if it's because there's not a big presence on social media. I don't agree with that because I feel like there's a lot of Damian Lillard fans. So because you're a Damian Lillard fan, I think you technically count as a Blazers fan in this graph. I don't know. But yeah, if you look at the top, it's all the big markets from Chicago to New York to Los Angeles. I mean, Clipper fans in there somewhere. But what do you think this is? Do you think that this is more of the officiating truly being that poor towards the big market teams, or because there's just so many fans for said Knicks, said Bulls, said Lakers, said Nets, that you just hear us a lot more on social media because there's just so many of us? Which one do you think it is? Or do you think it's both?
I think it's just a bigger. I was thinking about that when I was watching it. I was like, well, yeah, because we probably watch more Lakers games. And then I was like, well, no, that's not true, because if you're in LA, they block out the home games, which I'm still mad about. Right. So I think maybe we just either go back, or maybe some of us do watch more, but it is a bigger market. So all of those teams at the top were bigger markets. I understand that we complain the most, but we also are the franchise, in my opinion, with the best legacy. So we do have a bigger fan base. You know, there's Laker fans everywhere. If you go to Denver right now, and, you know, if the Nuggets play the Lakers 9 times, at least when I was there, I mean, I left in 2006, but when I was there, you would have more Lakers fans in Pepsi Center than Nuggets fans. So I just think it's the fan base is so much, it's larger, it's across the nation. And I think there's just more of us, because it's definitely not because it's televised more, you know, at least not here. But I think there's just more of us. And we do realize, you know, especially now, we got bigger guys. And I'm sorry, they just don't give big guys the calls in the league anymore. They just don't. They haven't for a while. So I think it's just a combination of two of those.
Yeah, that's what they told Julius Randle straight up. The ref told Julius straight up, like, you strong, bro. I'm not going to call that on you. And we have several players that we have that issue. I mean, RJ Barrett, you know, he's 6'7", but he's built, and he has a problem where he doesn't get to the free throw line. It's the same little thing with, you know, Julius Randle. That's just our team. You go down the line, like you just mentioned with your squad, you know, you got Dwight, you got all these LeBron James who've been, you know, I think as of late been getting a lot more calls, but throughout the majority of his career, he doesn't really get calls because of that same rule, the Shaq rule, the Giannis rule, the fill in the blank, the big guys that don't get those fouls because they're too strong, which I have never been a fan of. But yeah, look, I think it's a combination of both, but I think, like you, I think it's majorly the fact that there's just so many fans that will complain about even things that are actually fouls. They're going to complain about it. And because the Lakers just have such a big fan base, the Knicks have a big fan base, it's just that's going to speak louder than how bad the officiating actually is. But I do think that there is also some kind of conspiracy there with refereeing and big market teams. I don't know what it is, but it's look, if you watch these games, you see these calls.
There's so many after shows. There's the Lakers after show. There's the Knicks after show. Like every time a game is played, where people go straight to social media, watch these shows, and then comment about it. I've never seen a Cavs after show. So the fact that they are
that's what I'm saying. Shout out to the Cavs, man.
I've never seen, so,
right, and they made it that high on the list, and they ain't got none of that going on. Like that is, look, man, that's the definition from the ground up. They lost LeBron James and still kicking. Like, I respect it. Go ahead, y'all.
Yep. Yeah, we just got more. We're more saturated, so that's what it is.
There you go. Right, for sure. I don't know, man. I had a problem with it. Like, you know Mike Breen. You watch ABC games and ESPN games when Mike Breen's on there, right? So he's our normal broadcaster for the Knicks when he's not on ESPN. And you know how calm, cool he is in his games. He's really like, you know, that jazz voice, like that old school broadcaster, very even keel. He was sounding off on the referees last night. Like, that's how bad it was for us. Yes, he was like, you don't kick out Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson, you don't. That's a sensitive. Like Mike Breen is going off. That's how you know it's bad. One of the coolest dudes, the most even kill guys. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I'm sorry, I don't even bring my team into it, and it wasn't entirely the referee's fault when we lost last night, but against the Nets. But yeah, look at the Lakers, bro. I knew y'all gonna be in first or second, but golly, y'all had us times two if you would look at that graph. That's crazy. Laker fans, man.
Was it that much more than y'all? Was it time?
It looked like it. I mean, can we say it one more time, Leo? Or is it already gone? I don't mean to do that to you, but I just want to see. I think it's like double dollars. It might be gone. It might be too late.
No.
Oh no, you're right. It's not quite.
Yeah,
it's the Knicks plus the Cavs.
Double. It's close though. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are the Knicks and the Cavs combined. I see you. Okay, all right. Okay, let's move on. We'll move on. Sorry, I just want to see one more time. All right. Yeah. So moving off of that. That's according to betting website. See, I didn't even realize. Anyways, so we saw. Speaking of the Knicks, I saw something very Tibbs like where in the Arkansas game. He was so upset with how that team was playing that this man called a timeout not to yell at them and tell them what to do right. This man made them run lines during the timeout. Look at this. Never seen this before. Shout out to the coach. Look at him. And shout out to the music. Music fits perfectly. But yeah, they were running lines before that. They caught the tail end of it. But yeah, coach was hot. And I ain't even mad at it. I mean, it ain't going to help you because you just made your players tired. But I get it. It's about the principle. I understand it. I get it, Coach Carter. I understand. But it ain't going to help you win the game. I'm going to be real with you, Chief. But moving off of that, last but not least, we have a crazy story coming out of Michigan that made its way all the way to Tampa Bay. We saw there's a kid who was trying to get a hold. Oh, my goodness. Keep it with that. There's a kid that was trying to start a group chat with his homies that accidentally had one digit off and ended up texting Tampa Bay Buccaneers cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting. All right, your freshman high school basketball team started a group chat and accidentally added Sean Murphy-Bunting. He FaceTimed them and introduced everyone to members of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including Tom Brady. Like, that's crazy. Like, everyone started coming through. He was showing Gronk and all those guys. And there's even a clip from the local news site where local news station that got them together and talked about the whole situation. It was kind of cool. So here's a piece of that.
On the FaceTime call, Leonard Fournette introduced the guys to Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Richard Sherman, some of the biggest names in football. But there was one Buccaneer they really wanted to see.
I don't blame whoever did this, but who was the one who stepped up and asked to see the GOAT?
That is kind of the first thing I said. I think it was like everyone.
Tom Brady jumps on the chat.
We all kind of went like crazy. I was like,
my
dad and like my mom, like, Mom, Brady's on the phone. Brady's on the phone. They were like, oh, stop lying.
When he said what's up, I don't even think half of us heard him because we were just like all freaking out.
An unbelievable act of kindness done by the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. So my cynical, meme side, my brain went to like, oh, that's cool. That's a sentiment. That's a really dope moment. So I want to know how that call ended. Did my man like, yeah, so that was fun. Delete this number. Serious face, like straight up.
That's what I was thinking.
Delete the number.
Like,
no, he probably got a whole new phone. There's no way.
Don't call me no more.
Right, don't lose his number. Nah, he got a new phone. Yeah. For sure he got a new. That number was gone as soon as that call ended because that happens. Not the fact where you mix up the last digit turning into being a famous person, that doesn't happen all the time. But when celebrities get their phone numbers leaked or whatever like that, they typically just get a brand new number. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool though. I mean, the odds of that is crazy, but that's really cool how that happened. Now I'm gonna start calling all my homies and change up the last number. And hopefully I can get off. Yeah, I'm gonna see what happens. That'd be kind of cool. Like Julius, hey. But
there's that guy that from. I think this is the 6th year in a row that still goes to have Thanksgiving dinner with that lady who accidentally texted him thinking it was her grandson, and now he's engaged and she met his fiance. So occasionally that wrong number works out.
That was a heartwarming. The heartstrings right there on that story for sure. Yeah, I saw that over Thanksgiving where they were saying 6 years going strong. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. How to end it. Anyways, yeah, so I had nothing that I would not do, to be real with you, Jackie. So I need you to help me go into this weekend and inform me on what we not going to do. Can you do that for us?
Okay, well, first and foremost, what we're not going to do, Lakers, is lose to OKC again. That's first and foremost.
You still on that? Oh, my God.
But now let's get on to the real, what we're not going to do. So look, so this one, you know, I was on the conspiracy theory yesterday about LeBron and this COVID test. I'm definitely going to need y'all's help to help me in this, what we're not going to do, because maybe I'm just not reading this right. The timing just does not make sense. So I just had to go and just go step by step as to how this happened and how this makes sense, or maybe it does make sense. And I just don't think it does, but we're going to break this down because I still think it's a conspiracy. So like I told you yesterday, the NBA protocols are if you test positive, but you test negative twice within 24 hours, then you should be good to go. But apparently, unbeknownst to me, that rule was changed the day after Thanksgiving. So now the rule says that it's got enhanced testing requirements. So even if you're vaccinated, you still have to go through multiple. So under the current guidelines, you would be forced to sit out 10 days unless you are able to return multiple negative tests. But there's no number on what that multiple is, because by definition, multiple could be 3. So there's no definition on what that multiple is. So then I was like, okay, let me break down this timeline to see if I'm tripping. Y'all help me out. Okay, so we have the rematch against the Pistons. We win that game. LeBron James scores 33 points. So that was on Sunday, November 28th. We got the news that he tested positive on Tuesday, which meant he had to miss the Kings game on the 30th. However, if they had that rule where you only had to have the 2 negative tests, he could have still played on that game because he got those negative tests within 24 hours. So now again, I have to say, how many is multiple? And where did this false negative test come in? Because the reports that are coming out make no sense. So take a look at this first tweet, because this is the first tweet that I was like, okay, where did this false negative come in? Because he, again, tested false positive on Tuesday. But this says, LeBron James tested rigorously since returning to LA from Sacramento. So that was on, I believe, Saturday. And then he's had 8 COVID tests since Saturday, all of which have come back negative, per sources at ESPN. His test in Sacramento was false positive, and James will return to the court on Friday. You had 8 tests since Saturday? So doesn't that qualify as the multiple? So couldn't he have played? Like, at some point you got to 4. 4 is technically multiple. So how come he couldn't play? Like, the timing of this is weird to me, because did somebody decide, okay, I know the thing says multiple, but for us multiple means 8. I just need to know how I can't make this make sense. Am I tripping, Chris? Does this timeline make sense to you?
No, because I didn't know about the 8. I just figured, because after we talked about it yesterday, and then the news eventually came out later that LeBron was going to be cleared to play the game like you predicted. I decided he took the 2 tests like normal. Everything was supposed to like how it was supposed to go, and he's good. But I didn't know he took 8 damn tests. So I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, if the negative test happened on Tuesday, right? Which was, okay, so when did we play the Kings? On the Wednesday, 30th, no? Right?
Oh, did you? Yes, yeah, Tuesday. You're right. Yep.
Right. Okay. So my point is they said, so he gets back from Sacramento on Saturday. He takes 8 tests. Only one of them was false positive. I don't understand. So our producer had a theory that maybe the Kings somehow are in on this, and maybe the Kings was like, okay, let's see if we can get LeBron out. But this still sounds fishy to me. No, does it not sound fishy to you? Because if he was tested rigorously, and then again, the timeline doesn't make sense, because I saw another, this is from the New York Times. So their timeline is slightly different than the timeline that ESPN presented. So it says, after initially testing positive on Tuesday, James returned 2 negative tests 24 hours apart. So if that was the case, then he should have been able to play against the Kings. And this was administered by league officials that could enable him to be taken out of the league's health and safety protocols, according to the league. So somebody lying. Because the timeline's just not adding up to me.
Yeah, but when did he return those 2 negative tests?
That's why I
Tuesday.
don't know.
The Kings game was Tuesday.
Okay,
You're right. It's the 30th.
The Kings game was Tuesday, right?
Right.
So how does this work? So let's say they said he got tested 8 times between Saturday and yesterday, right? So if I was tested twice, and then here's the other part that confused me, and this is probably the important part, and I shouldn't have left it out. If you're vaccinated, you're only tested if you are showing symptoms or if you have been around somebody who's showing symptoms.
Right.
So LeBron, we know, was not showing symptoms. So why was this test administered that caused the false? I'm so confused. I don't understand how this whole testing thing came about if he doesn't have any symptoms. That's probably why he thought things were fishy. Because the rule states if you are vaccinated, you're only supposed to get tested if you're showing symptoms. He wasn't showing symptoms. He gets a false positive, and now he has 8 negative tests.
So they were all negative. All 8 of them were negative. Like there wasn't one positive that came in between there. Oh yes, I don't understand.
There was the one false positive that happened from Saturday. So he got tested from Saturday through yesterday. One false negative happened on Tuesday.
Oh, well, there it is.
My Glock says there was a false positive. It doesn't have to be someone's lying. The timing of it doesn't make sense because, again, if he had, you're not supposed to get tested, number one, unless you're showing symptoms.
Yeah, why did he get tested in the first place? I see what you're saying.
Why was he tested at all? And then if he's got two negative tests within a 24-hour period, which means he should have been able to play, why are we taking 8 tests?
Jackie, maybe he's not vaxxed.
It doesn't make sense to me. What I'm not going to do is pretend like this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. I need somebody to explain to me, A, why was he tested? B, there should be some protocol, especially these false positive tests happen too often. There needs to be some protocol to circumvent that doesn't keep players from playing when you know you have these faulty tests. They'd be rendering these false positives frequently. I don't know. I got nothing.
The conspiracy thickens.
It just doesn't make sense. I'm with LeBron. It's fishy. The timing doesn't make sense. 8 negative tests. I don't like it. But that's all I got. If I can make it make sense. Am I tripping? Does the timing make sense to you?
Well, to me, it sounds like it's just because of that false positive. They took him out. But my thing, the part that I'm confused by, I didn't know that when you're vaxxed, you didn't have to. I thought everyone was still just getting tested before the games. But if that's the case, yeah, I don't understand that part. Now I'm as confused as you are. Why the hell is he getting tested 8 times?
Yeah. He says these tests takes 45 minutes to find.
That could be a 2, Kev.
What did Kev say?
Kevin Lang, he said Bron needed rest using COVID tests as an excuse. That's a really drastic excuse, but
which is what I would have co-signed on. I probably would have co-signed on that narrative if LeBron hadn't come out and said something's fishy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's obviously thinking that this timing doesn't make sense either. So I don't know. Sounds all messed up to me, convoluted, but that's all I got for this weekend. You guys enjoy your weekend. Chris, you have any big plans coming up? I have nothing.
We got our late Friendsgiving mixed with Christmas thing going on tomorrow, so that'll be dope. We're doing the whole ugly Christmas sweater thing, so it's gonna be a vibe. I'm excited. Food's gonna be good.
Before we go, Ty said fake fouls get fake tests. Keep it coming, NBA. That's all we got for today. You guys be safe. Have a fantastic weekend. We will see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be safe. Peace out.
Bye.